This is part one of my debate with ReviewTechUSA versus the BBC, which is me. And he will be represented by the evil computer from the Brave Little Toaster, and I'll be represented by Lewis.
Pills here!
Now, just like the last debate, all I've done is gone back through the debate and taken out all the pauses so you guys will get a nice streamlined debate with all the real content still intact. And I will provide the original debate file so you guys can check for yourselves. And of course there's the witty visual aid that I have applied to this video. So I'm going to get out of your way now and start this thing. But let's all remember that Richard here, Mr. ReviewTechUSA, is a pretty cool guy. And you should probably check out his channel after you watch the end of the debate. I'll see you guys later. Enjoy.
I'm ready. You ready?
We'll start over. The first thing I'm going to say is that I'm not in Black Bond, listen to me. BlackBusterCritic, we're not looking to sit here to crucify each other. We're not going to sit here and start calling each other names and all that shit, because that's not a debate then. That's,
I know.
15-year-old female bullshit, and that's not what we're looking to do. Well, basically what we're saying is that what we're going to do is state our cases. I had my diarrhea of the mouth last night in my video, so I'll let him start first. What I will say is this, and this is not me trying to pat myself in the back, just so people know, I have a PC that I do game on. I will state my hardware, not looking for a badge of honor, just so people know that I can play current gen games so I understand what I'm talking about. AMD Phenom 2, 3.5 gigahertz, and I have a ATI Radeon 5830. So I can play current games, and I'm downloading friggin' one from Steam right now as we speak. And Steam gives me a mild erection, so I'll let you have the post first, or the stand, or the soapbox, or whatever the hell you want to call it, and then we'll go from there.
What do you want me to talk about first?
State the case of why, PC gaming is superior for everybody.
It's cheaper.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. How is that?
You spend $300, $400 on a gaming PC, and all the money you save buying the PC games all comes back around. Like Dead Rising 2, $39.99 on the PC, while on the consoles it's $59.99. And in other areas of the world it's even more expensive than that, like in Australia.
Yeah, due to inflation. Agreed. But the thing about it is, what PC and what specifications are you talking about that you can get for about $300, $400? I'm asking out of interest. I'm not, asking rhetorically.
Most games that come out today have recommended settings for GT 8800s, and those were about 3 years ago. So even people with PCs even 4 years ago can still run these games. Even games like Crysis can run on single core CPUs.
I had a Pentium 4 hyper-threading, man, with a 6800 Ultra, and it ran, but it was a slideshow. And that in 2005 was a high-end HP PC, and I mean, dual cores, the first ones that came out were the Intel Pentiums dual cores, and those came out in early 2006.
Just a second. HP?
Yeah, HP.
Alright, go ahead.
At the time, listen, hold on. HP, 3 gigahertz, Pentium 4 with hyperthreading. That was close to, if not, the top what you could get back in '05, okay? And a 6800 Ultra card, NVIDIA. And HPs have ASUS motherboards on them, and it had 2 gigs of RAM back then, which was a lot.
Yeah, and 2 gigs of RAM is basically all you really need for games of today as well. And this is 2005.
But it ran, I was getting like 15 frames a second on the lowest settings with Crysis. So I don't really know what, you're not playing Crysis. You're able to put the disc in and load it. A lot of times when I look at the minimum settings on games, now the minimum settings is the 8800 GT. And minimum settings, you well know and I know, is not they say it's playable, but it's not.
Well,
And there's a lot of times at the minimum settings.
that
when you
depends
play a
on the
game-
person. Some people can play at that. I wouldn't, but that can't go for everybody.
Dude, who would play a game playing when the game plays at like 20 frames per second? It looks like a slideshow.
On my
I
old
feel
PC,
like
I
it's
played
like,
at 20.
It's like watching porn on AOL with dial-up back in like 1996.
I'm just saying, we can't speak for everybody. What's good for us might not be the same for them as far as frames per second.
And everyone out there, consoles, the games are always should run at a minimum. Sometimes they go right down to 28. The average frame rate for consoles is 30 frames per second.
Yeah, some PS3 games go down to 24 frames. That's pretty bad.
Well, Bayonetta is a perfect example of that. Yeah. Well, yeah, okay, let me take that back then. 90% of games for consoles, if not higher, should run and do run at 30 frames per second. So it's not true.
Yeah,
It's not a trash port on the PS3. They patched it. It's still not as good as the 360 one, but that's not what we're here for.
Yeah,
So-
that's something that's completely different.
Yeah, we would be here till if we would start talking about all the nitpicking shit between all the hardware, we would be here till 6 a.m. Now, pretty much the other thing too is my biggest thing is this. Okay, there's a lot of people I know personally in my life that if they jerk off to video games, like it's kind of almost creepy.
Right.
And like I have a friend, Sean, last name will be out of it because I think some people here may know him. Call of Duty Modern Warfare for like 5 months. He played it 11 hours a day. Okay.
Yeah.
And what happens is
Unfortunately.
now here's a game that on the PC is you could run it at native high definition resolutions because if anyone out there doesn't know, on the consoles it's sub HD. They upscale it to 720p.
Yeah,
Okay.
sucks.
But because he doesn't want to, he's actually a technician too, because he doesn't want to deal with the BS. That doesn't always happen, but does happen with PCs. And I have a story first, but then I'll shut up because I know I'm talking a lot right now. He plays it on a console. He bought it on the console. He would not buy it on the PC. I actually tried to convince him of it, and he said, if you try to say it to me, I'll smack you across the head. That's the only one he got. He has a 360. He has I guess you could say he has a gaming PC, but he doesn't want to deal with it. And that's the thing, is that the general public.
What do you mean by
sometimes even me?
What
as
do you
a
mean by
person who has a
kinda?
PC,
What do you mean by kinda has a gaming PC?
He has a 1 gig 8600 GT in there, and he has a quad core processor. But 8600 GT, you can't say is a. I mean, that was when I got it back in 07. That thing was a entry-level card.
Well, the minimum system requirements for Modern Warfare 2 is 6600 DT.
Agreed. But he didn't want to deal with. Well, here's the thing: Modern Warfare 2. The other thing about it too was the big deal was the servers. He didn't want to deal with that. You were going through the Steam servers, and a lot of people were pissed at that, and so was he.
Well, then use third-party servers.
But once again, though, man, you're saying extra things that people don't want to fucking deal with. Even people that are, excuse my language, anyone there was, because I know people don't want me to swear. When you put a game in your 360, even the PS3, all right, a lot of people shit on the internet experience or the gaming experience on the PS3. I could give a crap about cross-game chat, but once again, we'll go into a whole other debate about that. You put the game in, and in most cases, at least from what I played, I don't have a problem with it. I have pretty good luck on the PC too, but a lot of people don't want to think. That's the reason why consoles have always outdone most of the time. As of recently, I should say more so in the past 5
So
to 7
consoles
years.
are for people who don't want to create their own experiences. Instead, they want to be lazy and just have what the corporations throw at them.
That's not. You can't say that, man.
You said
How many-
people
here's-
don't.
here's
You
the
said
thing
people
is-
don't want to think.
Okay.
If he doesn't want to just use a third-party server, which all you have to do is basically copy and paste into a text file. All you have to do is Google it, third-party server, Modern Warfare PC. It's not difficult. It takes 2 seconds.
I understand that, but you have to understand, you know, even that the people want to plug. It's not even that they want to get fed; they want the experience to be as smooth as possible. Let me give you an example outside of Modern Warfare.
Wait a minute. They want a smooth game, but they want to play a Modern Warfare game, a Call of Duty game on the consoles.
Yeah.
And they want to play online, and they want it to be smooth.
They want it to be smooth. Yeah. now Black Ops. Now Black Ops on the PS3 is having issues, but that's Treyarch. But
there was issues on all the platforms.
I play Black Ops on the 360 all the time. It's fun.
There was issues all across the board. I've seen all the articles.
Maybe I haven't played enough, but I have played quite a bit of it, and I haven't had a problem with it. But here is another example of why PC gaming pisses me off. I have a love-hate relationship with it, and that was really the key to this debate. Now, you know, you worked in retail, and unfortunately I had a temporary job for the past few months where I worked in retail.
Yeah.
Opening up a game, any game, if you open up software, okay, you can't bring it back. If you open up a game and say, yeah, I don't like it, you'll get the shit slapped out of you by customer service there. That's just the way it goes because they don't want people pirating shit.
Yeah. So
I bought Batman Arkham Asylum, okay? Back then I had XP, which is, who cares? It was a DirectX 9 game. DirectX 9, I think it was DirectX 10. I'm not sure. Whatever. There was a known issue with it when I went home, and there was no way around it, that you couldn't play Arkham Asylum because there was an issue with Windows Live with Windows XP. They let me bring it back because the issue was so known. Now, do those issues happen on gaming consoles? Sometimes, but it's much fewer and farther between. They let me bring the game back open. That's how known the issue was. And that's the thing with PCs that drives me nuts, man, is that it's getting less often, but there's a lot of times, like the Quake. I remember on your video I mentioned Quake, and you're like, dude, Jesus Christ, it's a game from 2000.
Yeah.
It's not that my hardware obviously can't handle it, but what happened is that, it's just not compatible with it. And it should be. Like, okay, yes, crappy hardware for the 360 aside, they just had Quake.
Just a second, bro. Just a second. Okay, you're saying those Quake games are compatible with your computer, but the first Quake game online runs live, Quake Live runs in a browser.
It ain't working. I downloaded them through Steam, and I actually contacted support thinking I was going nuts. The only one that'll work is Quake 1, because I got the whole pack, because I was like, oh, sweet. Like, Quake is honestly the only game I like from id. I like Doom too, but I could live without it. The whole pack, Quake 1 runs. I actually tried older drivers to see, so I always keep older drivers, because even with NVIDIA cards, you have to have an extra set of drivers around, because sometimes games run better with older drivers. Nothing. After Quake 1, which runs buggy, nothing. Now, 360's hardware being shit aside, they came out with Quake 3, the Arena, and it actually has a new single-player thing. And I understand the reliability issues you're going to mention, any 360 with a hard drive will run that. Because even with the revisions of the hardware, all the console's capabilities are the same. For games, they're the same.
So you can play Halo Reach campaign co-op with a 4 gig Xbox 360S model.
No, you can't. But that's the hard drive for them is a peripheral. It's not an upgrade. Hard drive, even for a PC, you can technically say is a peripheral, not an upgrade. Because the GPU, and you made a point that kind of had me stumble a little bit. The GPU and CPU in both the PS3, 360, they're the same. There are revisions. They may make them cooler and smaller. They've done it since the beginning of time. Even the Intellivision had a revision because they wanted to save money on it.
Yes, but no platform had problems as much as the Xbox 360 before. And these changes were made specifically to increase reliability. Mm-hmm. That's how they marketed it. That's what they told everyone. Get the new Falcon chip. you'll have less problems with ROD. The new Jasper chip makes everything better. They even, in 2008, they switched out the drive in the 360 for another one to attempt to fix the disk scratching problem. But that still didn't help because they took out the little rubber stoppers around the lens to keep the disc from hitting the lens.
But that's you're talking the stupidity of one hardware development company. That's not happening with the PS3, and that's not happening with the Wii.
My point I was making against Mike's point is that they had hardware changes, and that's why he says that their lifespan is short, the PC lifespan. And I said, well, they changed the hard drives and they changed everything else in the PS3 and 360. All these things is basically just gimped PCs. That's it. You have to buy things for them. Maybe not the PS3 as much as other ones, but if you want the experience that you can get on a PC, you have to spend the money and buy separate parts.
Like separate parts? Like you got to do the same. Like for example, man, like I had an 08, an 8800 GT with a dual core processor, and I could tell you right now the experience isn't the same. And I wasn't running at max settings. The games now, Just Cause 2 is a perfect example. Like it makes my 5830 choke, and I'm still not at max. Would I wouldn't have to. Those are upgrades. You're still saying, if you have a launch PS3, you are running, Castlevania Lords of Shadow at the same frame rate that you're running it now. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. My only point was that these consoles have hardware changes just as much as, PCs. But maybe the PS3 does have the where you can play the same games, even though newer PS3s you don't have any backwards compatibility. But for the Xbox 360, you won't have the same experience all the way across the Xbox 360s. There's some Xbox 360s as to where you can't install your second disc to Forza 3. You can't install your games. You can't even download a single game from Xbox Live.
I had a launch 360 up to a year ago, and I was I was fine. How? If I have a hard drive, I actually on my 360 now, because I don't have a hard drive for it, I installed the Forza disc to an 8 gig flash drive. Why? I understand there's a bug with Halo Reach.
Can you install your games to a flash drive from Xbox Live?
Yeah. I have what the hell is it? Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
An official Xbox 360 flash drive, or one that you have to format?
One I had to format.
One that you had to buy, or one that you already had?
One that I already had.
So you had to buy a third-party piece of hardware in order to extend the experience on your console.
Yeah, but then you have to do the same thing for the PC.
Exactly.
No, man. You're trying to compare, buying a $150 or $200 processor, or even a $90 to $100 video card to
games today can run on single cores. You don't have to upgrade your processor every 2 or 3 years, like you said.
Really? How? How do you not have to upgrade your processor every 2 to 3 years? How? How am I
minimum requirements for
my original AMD dual core? How would I run
games today? Have a minimum requirement of single core, maybe like 3 gigahertz or something like that. I've seen it. Crysis can run on single cores. Single cores is like 2005, 2004. We're talking Pentium 4s here. Now, everyone...
I tried running on a Pentium 4 with hyper-threading, so in theory it was pseudo-dual channel, and that's all there was in 2005. 2006, I'm actually pretty damn positive, was the first dual-core processor from Intel, and that was the Pentium dual-core.
And your only problem was that it didn't run the way you wanted to. You were talking 15 frames per second, 20 frames per second.
That was wishful thinking, yeah.
And, people play it at those frame rates.
That's a horrible gaming experience. Why would you want to do that?
People still do it.
No way.
They
man.
don't have to upgrade.
It's people still, people may do it.
They
It's
don't
like, oh, wow,
have
I
to
have this old
upgrade.
piece of
That's
shit
the
computer.
point. They don't have to upgrade. That's the point.
Oh, that you're going on a technicality though, man. That's like saying
That's just the fact. That's just the fact of the matter. That's the fact of the matter. They don't have to upgrade.
I could run an hour at the gym that I shouldn't lose weight. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
That's the fact of the matter. They don't have to upgrade. It is their choice.
I don't agree at all.
It is their choice. They have the option to upgrade.
Okay. Hey, I don't agree at all, and I think a lot of people here who would play a game at 12 frames per second and play the entire game. Everyone typing right there. Who would play the entire
Castlevania, okay, I've heard people talking about Castlevania goes down to 15 frames per second on the consoles.
Yeah, for like a second. I played through the whole game. It goes like, there's like 2 scenes where like it's like maybe 5 to 10 seconds. Crisis, the entire game was like that. And the textures look like something on Nintendo 64. Who would want to play that? It's not playable. Like you aim, like say you want to aim down your sights. When I had it on the Pentium 4, it was like 2 frames a second.
2 frames per second aiming down your sights.
Yeah. Literally. And I'm not exaggerating
If your game is running at 2 frames per second, you are on a very, very old piece of hardware. I mean, heck, you can't even run the Quake games. You can't even run the Quake games, and you want to talk about running Crysis at 2 frames per second.
Yeah, on my old Pentium 4 hyper-threading with a 6800 Ultra in it, yes. And the rest of the game, when you got out of the sights, I don't know, whatever effect they had, I think it was the blur effect they had, where, then when you went back out, it would go back up to like 12 to 15.
You can't run.
That's not a gaming experience. Let me ask you right now, okay?
There's obviously something you did wrong. If you couldn't run,
but I had all the patches for it, and I had a Pentium 4. What could I have done wrong?
You had all the minimum requirements. You had all the minimum requirements.
Minimum requirements. It ran.
The minimum requirements. The minimum requirements for Crysis run the game on medium.
No.
Yes, they run on medium.
Well, that was my hardware, and I'm being truthful about my hardware. That was my hardware for that, and the patches were installed, even though that game is still buggy as shit with the patches.
So it's your own fault that you didn't have the correct hardware.
No, it's not. Because in theory, Crysis says if you run on a single core Pentium 4 with hyperthreading, it has to have hyperthreading. Can't just be a Pentium 4.
And the minimum requirements run it on medium. That's from their official site. That's from incrisis.com, I believe it is. Let me look it up. Minimum requirements.
Persistent thought, I still am a fan of PC gaming. That's not where I'm going with this. I'm downloading a game, like I said, on Steam. Well, it's paused because it wouldn't work with this.
Let's see, recommended 2 gigabytes of RAM. You had that, didn't you? Recommended GTX, not GTX, GT 8800.
You know, though.
Let's see.
You know. No, I'm not getting mad at all, man. This is a debate, dude.
Yeah, minimum system requirements, single core, 2.8 gigahertz or faster. Memory, 1 gigabyte of RAM on XP or 1.5.
So I was above on that.
Or 1.5 on Vista. A video card that has 256 megabytes of memory. And DirectX 9 and 12 gigabytes of on your hard drive.
Mm-hmm. And I was there. And I met all those.
But you were
and
running.
So
you had the minimum requirements and you were running 2 frames per second.
Of course, I just said before, and when I was aiming down the sights, the game ran between 12 and 15 for the rest of it. I did say that before, too.
At the time, you had like a 6800 or something, right?
Yep. 256 was on there.
That sounds like a self-fail to me. The game came with requirements. It seems that you met the requirements, but there's probably something you're not telling us about your old PC. And you upgrade this PC, right? This is the PC you're still using today?
No, that's another HP. The one I'm using today is a build that I originally got from 2007.
Your HP is the one that didn't. Your HP computer didn't run Crysis.
Mine now is a home build.
Okay. An HP product, yeah. An HP computer.
Why would I be lying about the Crysis thing? What the hell would it matter? I'm not saying it to you. I'm saying it to someone in the text. There's also many other times too that minimum requirements, there's so many variables, there may be compatibility issues with your motherboard.
Even the recommended requirements are like 4 or 5 years ago. Core 2 Duo, 2.2 gigahertz, 2 gigabytes of RAM, GTS 8800.
Okay. Repeat the beginning of that because I didn't hear it.
Intel Core 2 Duo, 2.2 gigahertz.
What specs are you reading for though? What is the requirement for?
That's the recommended requirements.
Mm-hmm.
And it plays the game 30 frames per second on very high.
Now flip it around now when Crysis was meant to be really on medium or high. When I had an AMD dual core, this was the first generation of AMD dual cores, and I had an 8800 GT. I could get between the only thing I didn't have maxed out was anti-aliasing. I had between 25 and 30 frames per second with everything else maxed out. At 720p, but everything else was maxed out. So you can't always go by, minimum or required or recommended specs, because technically that was actually running better than it should have with everything on very high.
I just don't understand how you couldn't run this game. I heard your specifications of your PC, and it just doesn't make sense.
Dude, Crysis, even on my machine now, still, even at 720p, I can't get anti-aliasing all the way up. I'm like at 2x or 4x. And I'm still at like 28 or 30 frames per second at 720p. Crysis is a fucking beast,
you
man.
like the consoles, right? You should be used to 2x and 4x.
I am used to 2x and 4x. But I'm saying what I'm saying is that game, if it's making my hardware sweat now, which is a billion times more powerful than what I was using in the HP, how is it not believable that when I was looking down the sites, it would drop down ridiculous amount to a virtually still frame rate?
It just doesn't make sense. I'm hearing what you're saying, but it just doesn't make sense. There's something wrong with your hardware. You can't run Quake, but you're talking about your...
Two different sets of hardware, though. That doesn't... No. That's two different sets of hardware. The HP is something with Crysis, and this is...
You said it's making your current PC choke.
What, Crysis is making my current PC choke? Yeah, when I have everything set through the roof, yeah. And there's nothing wrong with my hardware.
Are you running on very high?
I'm running it on very high. Everything through the roof except for anti-aliasing is at like 4x. 2x or 4x, like I said before.
But you couldn't run it on medium, and you had a PC before that met the requirements.
Yes. Indeed I did.
This is going around in circles. I think we should...
It is definitely going around in circles.
Yes.
I don't understand. I mean, I'm sure you've dealt with this before, man, where you meet the minimum requirements. I mean, this isn't the first time with the system either, and I'm sure it's not the first time with you. I guess you're trying to catch me in a lie, but that's cool.
You do sound like Seth Rogen.
I know, everyone tells... I don't even know who the fuck Seth Rogen is, and I've been hearing that ever since I made a YouTube video. I swear to God. Anyway, all right, we need to move on to something else because we'll sit here all day, and my armpits are starting to sweat, so that could get dangerous. The other thing you brought up is, I guess maybe I didn't understand it because I guess I went at it wrong. What was the whole thing with PC games are on consoles are on PC games? What was your deal with that?
You see, 3 kilobytes is point. Their point comes from having to own all the consoles. They're going to use all the consoles to argue against the PC. So if there's a certain aspect into which when they're using the 360 against the PC, they're going to switch to PS3. And when that doesn't work, they're going to switch to Wii.
Grabbing pills.
Which is why I was saying, well, if you're going to talk about having this game and this franchise, you better have all the freaking consoles. Because if you're doing it one against the other, the PC's automatically going to win. But even against all the next-gen consoles, the PC can win against them. The PC has more critically acclaimed exclusive titles in the last 2 years than the 360 and PS3 got since their launch.
Yeah!
Okay. See, I see that to a small point, but at the same time, the PC doesn't get the exclusivity of certain things that like the 360 or the PS3 does.
And vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get the games that are only available on the PC. They don't get to play Amnesia. They don't get to play Crysis. They're going to play a downgraded version of Crysis 2. They don't get a lot of games.
There's a lot yet, but there's even more games, and we can look up numbers. There's even more games on the PC that the consoles that the PC doesn't get. You know, I mean, if you look at Steam, let's look at it right now. Okay. Hold on. Let's go to the store, for example. A lot of them are indie games, which, hey, if the game's quality, that doesn't matter. But those aren't the games that are going to draw, in most cases, even people like me in. Okay? You know, I understand.
There's games like Darkfall, there's games like Dawn of Discovery, there's Demigod, Black Shark, EVE Online. There's a lot of games out there. Penumbra, Amnesia, Napoleon Total War, the Sherlock Holmes games, Shattered Horizon, Spore. Even though Spore is like...
Shattered Horizon is shit, but okay.
Even though like Spore is like on, I think, the Nintendo DS. Or at least a version of it. But there are tons of games that you can't get anywhere but on PC. Sins of the Solar Empire, The Witcher. There's plenty of them.
The thing about it is, though, is that, you know, you're dealing with certain you're getting into it. It almost seems like the PC becomes more of like an MMO and turn-based machine. And what happened is that now with all the other titles like shooters and bigger titles that people want to play, like me, you know, it kind of, they're just thrown on there. For example,
well, there's plenty of action games coming out next year, like Red Orchestra, Natural Selection 2, Warface, Firefall, Age of Chivalry, Bounty Arms, Tactical Intervention. There's tons of games that are not shooters and not just strategy games. There's RPGs, there's MMOs, there's simulators, there's racers, there's adventure games.
Okay. Let me ask you a question, and this is going to be an interesting twist. BioShock Infinite. What system is that actually being developed for, and what is it being ported to?
I'm not too familiar with the BioShock Infinite information. I saw the trailer, and I can't wait for it. But I assume it's on like all platforms.
It's PS3. It's being developed for the PS3, and then it's going to be ported to the 360 into the PC. The thing about it is that, yes, there is a bunch of critically acclaimed games that do come out for the PC, but the problem is that, yes, there's RPGs, but it's just still a smaller niche market because either the developers, because they're independent, don't push themselves out there enough. But what happens is when the big developers, and I don't just buy big games because they're big games, like, that's just retarded. But when the big developers come out with a game, the reason that their main focus is on the consoles is because, once again, even people like me sometimes, I just want to play the game, put it in, and use it. That's why do you think Crysis 2 is coming out for the consoles? It's coming out, yes. Is it going to be an inferior version? You're right. It is going to be probably far inferior. It's probably going to be like 576p native resolution. But I guarantee you it'll outsell the PC 3-1 because people don't want to deal with the issues. Like I said, I'm still having bugs with the original Crysis now.
So now we're talking sales.
Not just talking sales. But the sales come from the fact that people don't want to deal with the stress. And there still is, man. And like I said to you, it's getting better. And I have to thank Steam for it. But there still is issues with gaming on the PC. And yes, there is on the consoles too, but it's far few and less between.
All right, let me stop you there real quick.
Okay.
You were talking about independent developers, you know, staying on the PC and everything and having small games, small niche games. They have those on the consoles, like the Atelier series. That's only on PS3, and the Atelier series is 10 games. They have 10 games, haven't even gotten 1 million sales total, and they still make games. You don't need to have a bunch of sales in order for a company to want to make another game. They'll just do it if they have the money or the investors.
Yeah,
And on the
or how much
PC,
overhead they
on the
have.
PC versions can sell maybe even just 20% or even 30% of what the console version will sell. And if they do it at digital distribution, they'll still make money. Tons of money. A new game on the PC gets the developers at least $38 if they sell it for $49.99. But on the consoles at retail, $59.99, the developers only make $8.
But even with that less turnaround, even with the, there's not as much profit margin because the volume is so much more. That's why there's more exclusives for the consoles.
There's more exclusives for the PC.
Yeah, but you're talking indie exclusives though. You're not talking things that's going to draw people like me in. You're talking
Okay,
indie RPG.
this is you and me. We can't speak for everyone else. If someone sees an indie game they like, they can play it on their PC. They don't have to have an ultra powerful PC to play certain indie games.
No, you don't even need an ultra powerful PC to play something huge like World of Warcraft. You need a Pentium 4 at like 1.8 gigahertz. But what the thing is getting at, and what this whole debate is about, is if you're one of those people who is even hardcore but not into the tech of it, is having the PC worth it? And that's where I say no, because it's just you're not. There's going to be issues that come up, even if they're few and far between, that you're just not going to be able to get around. It's even happened to me where I got to sit there and reinstall my whole damn operating system because I just can't find the other way around it.
Now, let me
And I'm
just
sure
stop
that's
you
happened
there.
to you.
Let me just stop you there. Hearing
Yeah.
you say like things on the PC aren't worth it, after you told me you had an HP gaming PC and you're still having issues running Quake, that doesn't really hold much substance.
Yeah, man, but you know that legacy games or older games that was in GL. That game's run in GL. You know that older games can give you issues. You know that. Come on, you can't say that.
I still play Roller Coaster Tycoon. I still play my Sonic 3 and Knuckles old CD-ROM for Windows 98. I can still play the Jumpstart games. Those little fun.
I still play the original Half-Life that was meant for 95 and 98. So I can
still
do that
play
too.
Yukon Trail. Oregon Trail.
Like I just said, Half-Life 98, the original one, not Half-Life 2. I can play that no problem. I can play legacy games too.
But you can't play Quake.
Can't play Quake. Quake 3 will not. Quake 3 Arena will not start up, and neither will Quake 2. Quake 1 plays with bugs.
Quake runs perfectly in Firefox in an internet browser, but
Yeah.
it doesn't play correctly on your PC.
Yes, man, you know that can happen. You know that can happen. I understand why you're doing it right now, but I'm sure it's happened to you. I'm sure it has.
I just hope Pong doesn't crash your PC.
Yeah, I highly doubt that it will. I highly doubt that it will. I mean, that's the thing, because here's the other thing that you get into now. Now, revisions are something different. The other problem is that it's with Windows 7, it's alleviated slightly, but everyone has different hardware. There's so many different variations. Okay, ATI and NVIDIA are the two people making chipsets right now, and developing the card standards. But you have so many different video card developers or manufacturers, so many different motherboard manufacturers, and so many different variations in each of those motherboards that's the reason why you run into issues. There's no matter how talented the development team is, you cannot make a game run perfect on every single setup out there. And that's what the biggest thing is, and that's why PC gaming, even though it's still strong, I don't think it will ever die. That's why console gaming will always have a one-up on it, because you only have, revised or not, one set of solid hardware to develop for with each console developer. PS3, no matter how
Let
many
me
versions-
stop you right there. These developers are not developing for this piece of hardware, that piece of hardware. They're just looking for certain requirements of the hardware. As long as you have a graphics card that has that right amount of memory, as long as your processor can push this many gigahertz, as long as you have this much RAM, you can play the game. They're not going down, oh, let's look for this, oh, Radeon, we gotta look for all the different types of Radeons, and we gotta go over all these Intels. No, they're not doing that. They're just looking for the capabilities of the hardware. You can buy whatever hardware you want. They're not developing for your hardware. They're looking for the requirements.
Doesn't matter though, but because there are so many different, you make games with general requirements. But because then now, okay, you have to deal with multiple different drivers for the video cards, for the audio cards, even help
Your
for the
video
CPU.
drivers get updated like once every 2 years. And all you do is right-click driver, update, downloads by itself, installs, restart, you're done. You probably won't see another in maybe a year or two. Is that difficult?
Okay, so when I got BioShock back in '08 for the PC, and there was an AMD dual-core timer issue, and I had to wait, and it was like 2 weeks before they came out with a patch for it. Did that happen on the 360?
Probably not for
Hell, did it
BioShock.
happen on the PS3?
Probably not.
It didn't, because they have one set, even though they make even though the developers, ATI, AMD, Intel,
So
NVIDIA,
you're saying games don't come out broken on the consoles? Is that what you're saying? They don't have broken versions of games
no, they
on the
have
consoles?
bugs and they have issues, but they're
The
never,
same as the PC, right?
not as often, and you know it, not as often.
Not as often. That's
And the
why.
game is- in
That's
most
why
cases,
games
the
on the
game-
that's why games on the consoles have to have patches every other week, right? Because it's not that often.
Yeah, but how many times do you get patches and don't even notice anything wrong with the game? And how long do those patches take to install? 2 seconds?
It depends on some people's connections. Some patches are 200. Some patches are 200 megabytes. Some patches are 200 megabytes, 30 megabytes. It all depends on the patch.
Yeah, but you know, especially on the 360, those patches are so small, so small. And then on top
You
of
know
it,
why
too,
that
after
is?
the
That's
patches-
because
for-
Microsoft.
for-
That's because Microsoft has a cap on how big the patch file can be, which is why you don't get as many fixes in your patches.
But here's the thing, okay? How many times when a new game comes out for the PC that you have to go to ATI or NVIDIA's site, get that new driver, and it makes that small handful of games run okay. But then when you go back to play something older, those games run screwed up, and you have to actually uninstall your current driver and then go back to your original one.
I've never had to do that.
Insane. It happens all the time.
I've never had to do that. It may happen for you because I've heard your problems with the PC and it just sounds insane. I don't want to hear about you and your PC problems because what you told me about your HP.
But you're making like I'm talking about the same piece of hardware. I'm talking about a different. It was a totally different.
Even
motherboard
your
with a
new
different video
PC
card.
is giving you
That
problems.
happens to me when I had the NVIDIA, and I had an 8-bit motherboard with a dual-core processor. And now something different happens with my new setup. So it's totally different hardware. So it can't be
It's a
the hardware,
self.
especially when all the firmware's updated.
It's a self fail. It's a self fail. It's
How
not.
is it a self fail?
It's not PC Gaming's fault. It's not the game's fault. It's a self fail.
But those self. Do you think that
This
someone
right
who's
here.
knowledge- do you
This
think that
thing
someone
right
else-
here. Let me show you this. This can run Quake just fine.
I'm sure it can.
Windows 98.
I'm sure it can.
Look how
See,
dumb.
you're
I
making
can't even
a
recognize these
technicality
parts.
now. Sure, of course it
I
can.
can't
but
even
that's
recognize
the
the
hardware,
parts.
too that it was meant for.
I can't recognize the parts. And this runs better, runs the game better than your new PC that's fully upgraded.
Mm-hmm. And I can also
And?
run Half-Life from 1998.
And come
I
on,
can
bro.
run Half-Life from 1998. What's the difference?
This is getting ridiculous.
It's called compatibility issues, man. You know there's variances with software and hardware. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with the hardware or someone's an idiot because something's not working. What happens if I gave you that copy of Half-Life and that didn't run? Would I say that it's a self-fail? No, shit happens. There's so many different variables with computers with the hardware.
I wouldn't have a problem.
You don't know that. And I'm sure you've got other problems, but you won't admit to them right now because that would blow up your whole case.
I haven't had any problems running my games. I haven't.
Well, I'll tell you right now, if the whole world didn't have problems running games like you did, then PCs would be outselling the Wii, PS3, and 360 combined. This is coming from a person, like I said, I enjoy PC gaming. I really do. And, I see the pain that other people deal. Like, for example, man, and this is going off subject a little bit, like, a lot of people saying, oh, if you're not into PC gaming, you're casual. That's so not true. Like, and when I'm working, like I said, I've worked in retail, and I hope I never have to again. How many people come in who are like, oh man, I was up playing Halo for 8 hours and I ripped my headset out, and they live for gaming, but they don't want to deal with whatever stress goes behind it. You have to understand, man, there's people out there who don't even know how to use a fucking Phillips wrench screwdriver.
Stress.
Phillips head.
So I guess all these people that are watching this Ustream on their PCs and Macs won't game on it because it's too complicated. Because just like Firefox, they'll have to double click the Unreal Tournament icon to run their game.
Yeah, but you're dealing with a certain audience right here, though.
Yeah, gamers. Yeah.
Yeah, you're dealing with gamers who are mostly probably PC gamers in this room.
No, there's everyone here
when I
has
had to
PCs
sit there and suffer
consoles.
through Crytek's BS servers.
What you said earlier was that the consoles.
To download
What you said earlier was that the consoles were for lazy gamers. That's basically what you said earlier. For those who don't, you said for those who don't want to think. That's what you said. For those who don't want to think, that's what you said.
So you're saying someone who is a doctor or a lawyer who works 12 hours a day, who just wants to come home, pop a disc in because they had a stressful day, is lazy? Because they don't have an interest in sitting there and diagnosing things?
So you have to diagnose things when you have your games running?
Not all the time, but definitely a hell of a lot more than a console. And you know it.
No,
I'm
sorry, bro. I hear that kind of stuff all the time from console gamers, how I don't feel like messing with settings and everything. I'm like, your game is going to go straight for the recommended settings and it'll just run that way and you don't have to touch the settings of your game.
Do you think an 18-year-old frat guy who's sitting there at college is going to want to, in most cases, is going to want to sit there and have to run benchmarks to make sure that he has the proper settings for his game? Do you really think
benchmarks?
That? And you know
if you have to run benchmarks, you probably have a very old PC. I don't ever have to run benchmarks. I never have. I never needed it.
Why would you not run benchmarks even if you have an up-to-date PC?
Because I know my PC can chew up anything the gaming industry spits out right now.
And so can mine. But you still run them because you want to see what it can do, or what you think it needs to do.
I play games, not benchmarks. I don't need benchmarks.
Benchmarks are meant to make sure the game can run in any situation smoothly. Why would you not run a benchmark?
I don't need them. I don't run them.
Man, you are a better man than me. That's interesting.
Probably just a better PC owner, most likely.
Then I guess they shouldn't make benchmarks. Then you're right. We don't need them. Minus that every game almost has them on the consoles instead of me, on the PC. Every game, even like Devil May Cry, which basically doesn't need one, I mean, Jesus Christ, has one.
I'm sure they run them in the background to determine what's the recommended settings, but I don't run the benchmarks. I just install my game, double click, and I play.
Alright, so let me look through my list here and give another example. Now, keep in mind, I always say that whenever I get a new piece of hardware, I run a stress test on it, whether it be the CPU or GPU. No, that game runs butter smooth. Can't use that as an example. Call of Duty Modern Warfare for the PC. Oh joy, here we go. You guys, anyone here enjoy Punk Buster? Because I fucking hate it. Now, it works for everything that usually I throw at it, but I can't play Modern Warfare, the original one, online. Because Punk Buster has an issue with it. Bought the game to play it online on my PC. Can't do it. Nothing I could do. Talk to support through Steam. Nothing. Can't get it to run because of BlackBuster. Online anyway. The single player runs great. Another issue, do you have to deal with BlackBuster? Or even if you do, I think PS3 you do. When you have BlackBuster on, or you play games on a console, you got to deal with issues with BlackBuster?
No.
Yes, I know that the Call of Duty Black Ops is having issues on the PS3 right now, but once again, let's draw straws, or let's make a tally and see how many times you have issues on your console as compared to your PC. I guarantee you that the consoles have a lot less.
Let's go.
Guarantee you.
And these problems to the PC won't be self-fails, will they?
No, they won't.
Okay.
But even if they were self-fails, and I'm tech savvy, what about someone who's not tech savvy?
You're tech savvy, but can't get your PC to run Quake.
Oh, here we go again. Yeah, I can't get my PC to run Quake. Here we go. Yep. And you're gonna, man, you're good. But yeah, that's the thing. Who else is gonna want to deal with that? So I'm gonna take my sub HD copy of Black Ops or sub HD copy of Modern Warfare, plug it into my console because I know I'll be able to put on a headset, or not put on a headset because if I want to have a less stressful day, and go online and play.
Let me see how many people are playing Modern Warfare on Steam with no problems at the moment.
Call of Duty 4, not Modern Warfare 2, that ran fine because that doesn't use BlackBuster, and I use BlackBuster on other games and it works okay with them.
Yeah, there's only about 1,000 people online right now.
1,000 out of how many millions of people own it on the PC? Yes, it's an older game. I will give you that. Man, you're gonna tell me that none of those other people, those self-failers out there, that the millions of people that own it, aren't having problems?
I'm sure a lot of people aren't
Still a
playing.
pretty popular game, man.
Well, I'm sure a lot of
1,000
people.
people,
I'm
man.
sure a lot of people aren't playing Modern Warfare because there's a lot of sales going on right now.
Come on, man. The Modern Warfare series is one of the most popular games ever.
Maybe to frag heads on the consoles.
All right, man. It sold millions upon millions of copies. No one plays it. Yeah. No, but yeah, there's still probably more people playing that than playing other games online on Steam right now. Play that.
There's about 73,000 people playing Counter-Strike Source.
There you go.
More than the people playing Black Ops.
You kind of answering your own question there, unless I heard you wrong.
No. Counter-Strike is not a frag-heady game. It's not a simple game. It's a game of skill. And that's why it's more popular than Black Ops.
It's a game of hacks and mods. I've played friggin' Counter-Strike before. It's a game of hacks and mods. That's the other problem with PCs that you just brought up, man. Playing games online.
Oh, yeah, because there are no hacks on the consoles, right?
Much less than on the PC.
You get to see people going prestige on freaking Call of Duty the very first few couple days that the game comes out. No hacks whatsoever. I didn't see anyone getting dragged out of their Call of Duty parties on the 360 version into hacked game rooms. Come on. There are ultra hackers on the freaking consoles.
Yeah, but it's much more limited than what you could do on
Didn't
the
a
PC,
certain-
man. You could
didn't a
recode the
certain
damn
company-
games on the PC if you want to.
Didn't a certain company just ban a million Xboxes just last year for those who hacked and had modded 360s?
Yeah, to play games. It's not to reprogram the game so you could do bullshit on them. You did it so you could get free copy games. Totally different story.
These are also people that hack their 360s to hack games online as well. These people played their games online.
Yeah, but dude, there's a lot more effort involved to do it on a console that you need to totally switch around than it is on a PC.
Evidently
A PC,
not.
I can sit there and
Evidently
download.
it only takes a day to get prestige, so these people must have these things ready before the game even comes out. They must have a game, well, they must have a review copy first. I guess they get in before everybody else. If you want to talk about hackers and cheaters, And you want to say that that's a problem on the PC, and you would ignore it on the consoles? You gotta get real. You gotta.
I don't
get
ignore
real.
it on the consoles, but I just know it's much more few and far between. It's much more few and far between. You also can't. I mean, you can do the Wii, but you can't mod the PS3 at least fully yet.
But there's even hackers on the PS3 version of games as well.
Killed it.
There's hackers on all the platforms. There's cheaters on all the platforms.
Yeah, but like I said, on the consoles, it is combine it together compared to what's on the PC. Like I can't even get into Counter-Strike because it's like friggin' Greek, man.
Do you
No,
have
not-
Counter-Strike on Steam?
Yes, I do.
Have you played it on Steam?
Yes.
Then you're telling me there are hackers on there. These people who have been playing this game for the longest. You know, if you haven't grown up on Counter-Strike, I really don't expect you to really win, because those people on there are beastly. I don't think you were hacked. I think you were merely just owned pretty hard.
Okay, maybe that's that one I'll give you. Maybe that is it. But from the experiences that I've had, PCs, it's just more. I mean, obviously, like the biggest thing I play on PC actually is Left 4 Dead, more so than anything else in terms of what I play online. But I have a much more smooth experience when I play on the consoles, and I believe that most people here can say the same.
So the console version of Left 4 Dead is better?
That one I will give you. No,
A
it's not.
smoother
It
experience?
runs butter smooth on the PC. But other games, yes.
I'm about to say that console version of Left 4 Dead.
No, I will not say that. I will not say that. That game runs like a friggin' dream.
Hell yeah!
It runs better on the PC online than it does on the 360.
I was getting ready to say, because
No.
I
That would be
played.
me straight bullshitting if I said that. I'm not here to do that. That would be fucked up. But no, I mean, other games, what the hell was I playing? Oh my, I keep saying it, but I played the shit out of it online. Crisis, and I don't have that on Steam. I have the disc version of that. I played the hell out of that online. And how many people would just randomly, and I have a perfect internet connection. I was actually hardwired at that time. Now I'm not hardwired. People would be popping up out of walls, popping up in front of me. I don't know if they were doing lag switches you could do on consoles too, but it would just, it's kind of like the Wild West online when it comes to gaming on a PC. There is great experiences gaming on a PC too, and I've witnessed them personally. For me to say there is none would be me lying. But I have much smoother experiences generally, not all the time, when I game on a console, when it comes to going online. Even on the PS3.
Even though PC games have dedicated servers, while most of the console games don't.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, I've got kicked out of more games on my PC than I have on my consoles.
You know, most console games are P2P, except for
Peer-to-peer. Yeah, they run from console to console. They don't have a dedicated server.
And that runs better than the dedicated servers that are on most PC games.
Hey, man, that's not cool.
As far as my experience, on top of it too, if you ever get dropped out, it smoothly gets you back into another game.
I think we should move on.
We should move on. Why is that?
You said P2P gives you a better, smoother experience than dedicated servers on the PC, so we should just move on.
Okay. Thank you. You've been kicked. Ping too high. That's happened before, even when your ping isn't high. Man, how about when I was playing, look here a second, with dedicated servers. Killing Floor, where it would take 20 minutes to get into a room. Once again, hardwired connection. Let me look again here. Let's see. Counter-Strike. How long did it take? God, I can't even sit there for 15, 20 minutes doing it. Alien versus Predator. Yeah, good luck with that one. Trying to even get a game. No one plays it. Let's keep going here. See, I'm looking at my Steam list, and my Steam list doesn't have everything that I have. Anyway, we'll move on though.
Yeah, 15 to 20 minutes to join a Counter-Strike server.
Yep.
To find a game. When there's like 73,000 people that play it daily.
73,000 people that play it daily. Good luck trying to get into the room though.
Oh, because they're all full. Because there's too many people playing, right?
No, not because there's too many people playing. Not because there's too many people playing. Peer-to-peer or not, and I understand having a dedicated server should give you better performance, but the problem is that there's no regulation to it.
What do you mean regulation?
There's no regulation to it, man. People can do whatever the hell they want to on a console. That's one thing I will say about the 360, even though I think that what they make you pay a year is bullshit, is that there's more regulation to it. People get kicked easier. And a lot of times when you get kicked on a game, on a PC, you're getting kicked by other users who are just jackasses.
That doesn't happen on official servers, official dedicated servers. The developers control everything on those servers. Now, if you're playing on a third-party server, or if you're playing on a server that maybe some nerd in his basement is hosting, then sure. Yeah, he can kick you if he wants, but he's the administrator. He can do that. If you're going to use his server, then you're going to follow his rules. If you're using a developer server, you're going to follow their rules. Don't play on third-party servers.
Okay. I guess I would have to record all my experience. This is going to go around in a circle with this one too, because I guess I would have to record all my experiences to show what my problems were. All right, next thing. We'll just so we don't keep this going on all day, we'll make this the final thing. We can end this at 5. I'll have you bring this one up, and because I've been the one coming at you, so it's your turn.
What do you want me to talk about?
Talk about whatever you want to.
It doesn't matter to me. It all depends. What should I talk about, guys? What, mods? He should know about that.
Mods.
I don't have to talk about mods.
Steam sales, I know they're up like a bajillion %. I used to know the number, but they're up. I know. Steam is what's saving PC gaming and direct-to-drive in a smaller extent. I know that.
Saving
the
PC
online
gaming
fee for the 360 is bullshit, and I've said that from the get-go. There should be no online fee for you to just have the privilege to go online. I will not back that up by any means.
How is Steam saving PC gaming?
How is Steam saving PC gaming?
Yeah, because
it's making it very accessible for anyone to get games.
Yeah, that's only just a part of it, but you know, retail-wise, retail and download, they made basically the same amount of money between 2009 and 2010.
They had a 200% sales increase in stores. Dude, you go into a GameStop or anywhere, you have to look with a magnifying glass to find the games actually in the stores.
I ain't talking about no lame stop. They don't care about real gamers. They just want to sell you used games. And you don't want to buy used PC games because you have to have a key. That's why they don't sell PC games anymore. They want to sell you games that they don't have to regulate. Retail 2009, 2010, they made about $2.1 billion. And digital distribution only made about 2.5. A little bit more than half of the PC gaming sales. If it's convenient, sure, but there's still retail versions out there. And just because GameStop doesn't sell them doesn't mean that the retail is disappearing.
Not just so you can go to any store then. And I have gone to. Where do you see PC games in other stores?
Walmart.
Are they the main focus?
No, they're not. Not for Walmart.
I know you can go into Target to get them too. I have purchased games from Target, but they're not the main focus there. They're not the main
Does it matter what their focus is? Can't I still buy the game? I don't need them to spotlight it for me to go in and buy it.
But that's not the point of this. The point of this is that things like Steam and Direct to Drive are what's making gaming on the PC enticing again. And I guarantee you that most people in this room can agree with that.
Or
yes, I said Best Buy, and I did say. And
it merely adds convenience as well. If you want to go buy a game at retail, you can do that. If you want to download it, you can do that. You can go to Amazon.com right now, download a game from Amazon, or buy the retail copy. It doesn't matter. Do what you want to do. You have the option to do as you like.
But more, and this could be said for the consoles too. So that option is going to probably, even with the next generation of consoles, is probably going to go away. It's all going to be direct to your system.
There's a few games that have that option, like the games on Xbox Live Marketplace, how they have like Halo 3 and such like that. Really overpriced prices on online games, digital distribution games. Yeah, I love buying games for a ripoff.
And you have what I'm smoking? What am I smoking?
Yeah, games on demand
suck.
Yeah.
I don't think BLACKBuster will agree with that either. Games on demand do not. Or are you talking about
Xbox Live Marketplace?
Yeah, that does suck ass. Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. And they actually charge more than you can get the game used for at wherever, whether it be GameStop or a mom and pop shop. It's laughably ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can both. Direct Drive is pretty good. I think, and we both brought up good points here. If you guys want to think that, BLACKBuster got me or I got him, whatever. The bottom line at the end of the day is maybe I came across more aggressive than I should have. Is that just fucking game, man. We both brought up point on live, fuck on live. At least now, screw on live.
On live is good. What are you talking about, bro?
Not yet. It is going to be the future, and I agree with that. I will say that. It's going to be the goddamn future. We are not going to have any kind of hardware in our homes, but not yet. Not yet.
On live is really good.
On live really in 2 years? On live into like 2 years is going to be it.
I used On Live when they had the monthly fee, and they gave me like a trial version that gave me like a year free. And you can rent games, you can buy games for really cheap prices. And you just play them through their servers. The servers run the game. It's really awesome. Like if you play a game online on the consoles or on the PC, you know how you have like that slight lag? That's basically all there really is. Except you're playing like a single player or whatever you really want. You should try it out. If you have a good connection, if you gotta have a good connection, I have like what is my connection? I think I downloaded like 700 kilobytes per second or something like that, but it ran really well for me. And the demos, you have 30-minute demos, which means you can play 30 minutes of a game. It's really nice.
Persistent bug, I got to agree with. All right, I haven't personally tried it, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. Now, BLACKBuster being another one, I don't think On Live will be out of business, bro. I don't think so at all. I think On Live is the future, whether or not you want it or not. You're going to see Sony and Microsoft coming out with their own kind of services like that.
On Live, no, that's not going out of business. On Live dropped their monthly fee because they're making enough money to cover all their costs and even make a profit. So no, they're not going anywhere for a while.
Yeah, I don't know why people. I mean, think about it. There could be a blizzard outside, and on top of it, you don't need to have to worry about any. That just totally kills our debate right now. Think about it. No more hardware. No more fighting over it. You just go and get the damn game, and that's it.
They have a little console thing they released.
Yeah, that little thing, which I think that's kind of cool. So if you want to, if you don't have a PC, nowadays that could just turn on the internet, God help you. But if you want to hook it up to like your flat screen in a different room, that's cool. And hey man, that's the way it's gonna be. I think if anyone is denying that, that'll change though, Anti-Martyr. That'll change. We're totally going off the debate, but seriously, man, I'm telling you, and I think that BLACKBuster agrees with me. That's it. That's the fucking future, whether or not you want it.
You guys gotta try it if you have a decent connection. That's all you really need.
If you have a decent connection, which now I want to try it because I do. I still don't think that everyone is ready for it yet. That's what I was saying, and I back up. But you know, like a year and a half, 2 years, maybe 3, if it moves slower, it may kill consoles. We may not see consoles anymore ever again, and it may be a totally different animal. That, or your console may be a cloud, you know, connecting to a cloud server.
I mean, hopefully something good happens for the consoles, because each and every generation the consoles get under more and more of the corporate control. This generation is even more so than ever.
And that is one of the strong points. Man, these guys are gonna be so angry because they wanted to see me sit here and fight with you the whole time. That's one of the strong points to PC gaming. That's why I like PC gaming, man. You still have that free reign.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can, you know, if I want to cross game chat has always been there with PC gaming. You know, people fight about that. People fight about, you know, which console has better resolutions. You want to really fight about that one? You know what I'm saying? Like, how many people, I'm sure you've seen videos where people fight back and forth and have lists of games that are high definition. And which one has more high definition games?
Yeah,
I got news for you. You got a PC. Guess how many games are high definition on your PC? Everyone. And you have people fighting, like, who was that dude? I forgot his name, man. He had like a 30-part video. And some other thing he had on IGN supposedly where he plugged a video, a picture in for a USB thumb drive, and he had like he was like saying how much more HD the PS3 is, like, and I'm like, come on.
Oh,
dude.
you're talking about that Wipeout video?
Yeah.
Yeah, showing how the PS3 can display images in HD while the 360 couldn't.
Yeah, and all it was that it just had a better software in it for that JPEG image, and he like made a big deal about it. You know, and here's the thing, man. You know, like I said from the beginning, and I said in the beginning of the video I put up about Blackbuster, is that there's all good sides to all three of them. Okay, there's games on the Wii that are fantastic. There's games on the PS3. There's games on the 360, and hell yeah, there's games on.
You talking about your debate invitation video?
I'm talking about the other one.
You made another one?
Yes, I made another one.
I woke up late, so I didn't really get to.
Yeah, I made another one. It has like thousands of hits now, and I came across, you know, colorful on it without being, you know.
There's nothing wrong with being colorful in a video.
I don't back down from everything I say, man. But I told you guys from the get-go that I game on the PC, so I'm not gonna rip it to fucking shreds completely. I'm not gonna sit here and call him names when I do the same thing he does. That's retarded. What am I gonna do? You know, because whether or not you guys think I won or he won, what am I gonna do? What is he gonna do? Throw out his consoles out the window? Am I gonna throw my gaming PC out the window?
No.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, I think they want to see us, like, you know, dress up in Mortal Kombat outfits.
I would actually like that.
I'll be a fat version of Sub-Zero. But all right, guys, you know what?
I'll be none other than Jax.
Man, if I dressed up like Jax, people would go blind. But anyway, listen, I'm gonna give it to him on one thing, and I'm gonna say that generally, I think I'll even admit that I think BBC won. I do. He had good points about servers that I couldn't really come back with anything on, and I'm gonna give him this one. And you know, yeah, I think that you have to have a set of nuts admit it when someone wins too. You won this one, man, and I'll give it to you.
Thank you, my friend. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
It was fun, you know, and for us to sit here and, you know, they wanted us to sit here and call each other names and all that bullshit. That's not the point of this, man.
Oh no, I wouldn't do that unless, you know, I wanted to get someone riled up, you know.
Some people would, yeah. It's not, you know, if we came across each other like that from the get-go, that would be different. But, you know, here's some people wanted my channel. Lies, all lies. Yeah, man. Lies, all lies.
Oh, just a second.
Tell me, they wanted us to battle it out and, you know, do some Street Fighter moves. All right, so everyone in this room, including Blackbuster, have a good holiday. I'll be the first to admit that he owned me.
All right,
I'm
my
saying
friend.
it. I'm the man right here saying it. So, You all have a good holiday. And I will, even though I am owned, I will still put this video up on my YouTube channel because it wouldn't be right of me not to do it. So have a good one, man. It was great talking with you. And everyone in this room have a good one, too.
You too, man. Take it easy.
You too.
Hold up. This'll help.